I hope you don't get the sickness.
My boy Kurt is a stay-at-home dad, watching Disney movies he never had. His daughter digs through all the VHS, crushing the classics in a princess dress. Informed like Scuttle, Kurt's got your ticket, making it real like Jiminy Cricket. Most off the Captain Hook, but if the Tweedledum, he'll be taking more shots than Bambi's mom. Leaves him raised like Simba, or cracked like the beach dishes. He'll show you a whole new world, you won't need 3 wishes. Stay-at-home Disney dad.
I'm exhausted tonight, but I want to do this. I want to get it done. She might be a rocky ride, folks, but let's do this. We start like most Disney movies start, in an intergalactic courtroom. Charges illegal genetic experimentation. Some weird alien who sounds like Scrooge McDuck. He claims he's innocent, but may I present Exhibit A? It's Stitch. He's the first of a new species. He's bulletproof, he's fireproof, he's faster than a supercomputer, and he can see in the dark. Supercomputers that can see in the dark, zombie Steve Jobs sits up. This is a bonkers way for a Disney movie to start. I'm really enjoying this. I think they're gonna euthanize Stitch. No, they banish it instead. Sorry. All I know about Stitch is that I got my picture taken with him years ago at Disney World. I had no idea where to put my hand. So awkward. He breaks free and there are guns firing at him. The people of this planet seem to be human shark people. Where have I seen this before? Pizza, no. Ew. Stitch takes an escape ship and he's out of there. Now he's firing back at the fleet. This does not feel like a Disney movie at all. Uh-oh, he's escaping to Earth, and one of the coordinates is Area 51, and that's pretty good. And topical, as just a year ago, people tried to raid it. Remember a year ago when everyone was talking about Area 51 and not COVID? Oh, to go back to 2019. They want to attack Earth, but there's a funny gag where one of the aliens pops up and says you can't attack Earth because it's being used to breed mosquitoes because they're now on the endangered species list. Queen Alien sends the creature creator, the guy on trial, and this high anxiety skinny alien to Earth to get Stitch back. If the guy who created Stitch can bring him back to this planet, he gets his freedom. This is a pretty fun little plot. And now we're in Hawaii and we see Lilo in the water, and I gotta say I love this animation style, and holy cow. In this movie, people look like people. Women look like women. Lilo pulls an Ariel and is late for practice, and as the father of a toddler girl, they nailed the body language. I don't usually say this early in a Disney movie, but the animators already deserve a raise. This is incredible. Okay, she's late because she had to feed a fish peanut butter. Someone asks why, and she says, because it controls the weather. Awkward silence in the class. Then another girl says, you're crazy, and Lilo goes prison on her, like tackles her to the ground, crawls on top of her, and lands one giant axe handle blow to the kid's face. Disney is taking some serious risks with this movie, and I'm eating up every second of it. After class, the other girls want to play dolls with her, and she's sad, but like it kind of makes sense that the other girls don't want to play with her at all, because A, she made her own doll that looks like a creepy voodoo doll, and B, she beat that other girl like a drum. Lilo's mom is trying to get inside the locked door at home, but Lilo's laying on her bed, depressed, listening to Elvis. Elvis Presley music in a Disney movie. Okay, Nanny is her name. She's mad because the social worker's coming. What? These are real problems in a Disney movie, and that's not her mom, that's her sister. And she wants to keep custody of her little sister, and the house is a mess. Lilo is her little sister, and she's worried she's gonna lose custody of her, and she'll be sent to an orphanage. This is real life. Lilo is answering the social worker's questions who came, and she says that she gets disciplined at least 5 times a day, sometimes with bricks in a pillowcase. What is going on? Did someone play a trick on me and slap a Disney sticker on like an adult cartoon? The social worker is leaving, and he says to the big sister, in case you're wondering, this did not go well. The door closes and Lilo screams in terror as her sister chases her around the house. It's getting real. Do you want to be taken away from me? No, no, no. Lilo falls to the floor crying. They scream at each other. They yell into pillows. This is raw, folks. This is real life. Later, they make up. Big sister brings her some pizza. Cool heads prevail. I liked you better as a sister than a mom. Oh, jeez, kid. The night sky begins to glow as the spaceship crashes to Earth. Lilo kicks her sister out of her room, runs to the window, and wishes praise on the falling star. She just wants someone who likes her and will be her friend. Stitch's ship was the falling star. It hits Earth. He's on the ground. He almost gets run over by a truck. The dog pound picks him up. What is this, Lady and the Tramp? On the other side of the wall, Lilo and her sister are at the shelter getting a dog. Aw, what a good big sister. She wants to get her troubled little sister a friend. Lilo goes looking through the cages for a pet, and all the dogs hilariously cling to the ceiling so she doesn't see him. Because I guess risking euthanasia is better than living with her. That's the second time I've referenced euthanasia. Okay, she sees Stitch. That's what she wants. Everyone else is terrified of this thing. It's pretty funny. Lilo names it Stitch. There's a $2 fee, and Lilo, no, I want to buy him. So her sister takes the money back from the lady that works at the pound, gives it to Lilo, who gives it back to her sister, who gives it back to the lady who works at the pound. Now, this is just an absolute window into what my life is like. This is what little kids do. They are time burglars every chance they get. Stitch sees the alien sent to retrieve him, grabs Lilo, and bails to the beach. There's a montage of them having fun to another Elvis song. This is so bizarre. So, like, if I bought the Lilo and Stitch soundtrack, would it be all Elvis songs? That's a lot of fun. They're at some late night live show on the beach where this jacked guy plays with fire, and the animation is so good. Lilo takes Stitch to the restaurant her sister works at. She calls over the fire dancing guy after a set is done, and he's like, are you sure that's a dog? Then he proceeds to ask the big sister for a date, but she can't flirt with him because she has responsibilities. Lilo tells him not to worry because she's read her older sister's diary and she likes his butt and his fancy hair. Disney! This movie is already rounding third. Stitch predictably causes a scene, and Big Sis ends up getting fired. At home, Stitch starts trashing the house, and Big Sis, whose name is actually Nanny, wants to return him. They fight, and she says, Ohana means family, and that means no one's forgotten or left behind. Between the trailer for this movie and playing Disney Seen It Volume 1, I've seen that clip a million times and it never gets old. She makes Lilo his own bed, but he wants to sleep in her bed. Yeah, how does that feel, kid? You want to sleep in your own bed, do you? But someone else wants to keep crawling in every chance they get? What's that like, little kid? The creator of the monster is observing Stitch being domesticated, and he's like, what? It's been 10 minutes and I want more Elvis already. I had no idea I was a big Elvis fan. Just as I typed that, Lilo drags a record player into Nanny's bedroom, puts Stitch's finger on the spinning record, opens his mouth, and he becomes a living record player like a speaker, and Suspicious Mind is playing. The second best Elvis song ever, and the best Dwight Yoakam song ever. The guy crushing on Nanny's back, and he's like, I heard you lost your job. Yeah, girl, you need a job. Montage of Nanny applying for jobs to Elvis's Look Like an Angel. Lilo's giving Elvis fun facts. This should not be working. Elvis and Disney sounds like a force fit, but everything about this is amazing. It's awesome. Okay, let's Google the soundtrack. Oh, but first, a Baywatch callback. Stitch starts playing guitar dressed like Elvis, and everyone on the beach starts taking pictures, and he freaks out. Lilo is carrying a legit photo, like a headshot of Elvis around. Like in a cartoon girl is carrying a real picture of Elvis. This is South Park territory. A real photo is floating around an animated Disney movie. It's weird seeing realistic bodies in a Disney movie. It really makes you recognize how out of proportion the usual Disney women and men are. Surfing montage to a song that is not Elvis, and that's bullshit. Back to the soundtrack I was looking up. I was distracted. Albeit, it's mostly Elvis songs and Elvis song covers. I love that. Imagine this soundtrack being a child's introduction to all that was Elvis. Fascinating to think about. The recon mission is not going well. The two aliens sent to retrieve Stitch are complete bumblers, and they bumble as bumblers do. Everyone is surfing. This movie is all Elvis music and on-point family dynamics. Every passing minute grabs this movie further up my list of favorites so far. Stitch falls into the water and hates water, and he freaks out. And of course, the social worker just happens to see it all and says he'll be back tomorrow morning for Lilo. Oh, and there's the classic Disney punch in the gut that you know is coming, yet you're just somehow never prepared for. I'm really upset because I'm invested in this movie. One moment you're bopping to Elvis as a monster dances on the beach, and the next you're watching a woman try to explain to her little sister that she's going to be taken away tomorrow and put into the foster system. This is really sad. Okay, she's going to bed in her own bed for the last time, and she's telling Stitch he's allowed to leave as well if he wants, and he crawls out the window. Like, I know this is going to turn around, but we have dipped into some darkness here. Like, okay, the queen from the planet wants to know why the two bumblers haven't returned specimen 626 yet, and I'm hoping 626 is some sort of nod towards Elvis. Okay, now the queen is sending a giant shark person to retrieve the two bumblers and Stitch. The bumblers finally find Stitch, and he's waiting for his family. Yup, still sad. The scientist bumbler says Stitch has no family because he made him, and now he's going to take him apart. It's morning, and Lilo realizes Stitch actually chose to leave. Nanny says sometimes you try and things just don't work out the way you want them to. Sometimes things change. I did not almost cry at that line. There is a knock at the door. It's the buff dude. He's found Nanny a job. She says she owes him one. He says she could just date him and they'll call it even. I bet they regret that line of dialogue these days. But Everything else is amazing, so I'm gonna give that line a pass in 2020. Stitch returns home all panicky, and the movie starts blasting the Elvis song Hound Dog as the two bumblers break into the house to steal Stitch. The scientist bumbler is shooting holes in the house. Stitch throws him out the window. The house-destroying fight continues. Stitch hits him with a car. The house is destroyed. Then a bomb goes off, and the house remnants explode. Nanny gets back just in time to see the social worker packing Lilo into his car. I'm the only one who understands her. You take her away and she doesn't stand a chance, she begs. Oh my god, these are not cute little forced animals, people. These are actual adults and their families being torn apart on a Disney movie. I'm not dealing with this well. Lilo hops out and runs away. Stitch reunites with her and shows Lilo he's actually an alien. She gets mad and tells him he ruined everything and he should go away. Sharkman nets both Lilo and Stitch. Pulls him into a giant bug jar. Nanny sees this, and this is a lot to take in. Sharkman gets in his spacecraft and takes off. Wait, he didn't actually get Stitch, only Lilo. Stitch talks out loud, and Nanny is like, I know you can talk. He says no, and she smashes him with a branch. The two bumbler aliens attack, and Nanny demands to know where Lilo is. The bumbler scientist plays dumb. Nanny's getting angry. Bring her back. They say she can't, so she's just gone. The other bumbler says, look on the bright side. You won't have anyone to yell at anymore. Oh. Wow. That might be the harshest line ever delivered in a Disney movie. Like, she will never ever see her sister again. She went to outer space to die, and the alien burns her that hard for absolutely no reason. Okay, change of heart, and the aliens decide to help get Lilo back. It's a spacecraft battle in a Disney movie. Sharkman realizes he doesn't actually have Stitch. He looks in the spacecraft next to him, and Stitch is running his butt on the window at him. That's pretty funny. We dip into Star Wars territories. The crafts try to out-navigate each other. Stitch ends up on top of the Sharkman's shuttle, then hits the ground with Sharkman hot on his heels. The Sharkman takes a shot, misses, and there's a great animated shot of the ship going by a giant truck with a license plate. Oh, 113, Pixar Easter egg for those of you keeping score at home. The truck ends up in lava, and Stitch tears it open. Gas pours into the lava, catches fire, explodes, and launches Stitch into the cockpit of the Sharkman ship. Glad that plan worked out. Stitch rescues Lilo. Suddenly the alien queen and everyone is on the beach, all cards on the table. Stitch is dangerous and has to return to his planet. Stitch asks to say goodbye. He hugs Lilo and explains to her that this is his family. It's a little broken, but still good. Oh, so many uppercuts to the feelings in this movie. The social worker now weighs in. Didn't you buy that thing at the shelter? Lilo shows the queen the paperwork. She owns him. Aliens are all about rules. The social worker looks familiar to the queen alien. He says he was CIA, Roswell, 1970s. That's pretty funny. The aliens leave. She asks CIA. Social worker says he saved the planet once and convinced an entire alien race that mosquitoes were an endangered species. Call back. Final montage of David. That was the buff guy. Nanny, Lilo, and Stitch all happy and rebuilding their lives to a cover of Elvis's Burning Love. At one point, Stitch is doing laundry and wears a bra like earmuffs. Always hilarious. That and goggles. Never a dry eye in the house. More pictures of everyone getting along like a family, and we end with scrolling vacation pics. You know when you see a movie you like, but you couldn't even begin to explain why you like it to someone else? That was this movie to me. I didn't really think I liked Elvis that much, but during this movie, I loved Elvis. And now we end with a pop version of Can't Help Falling in Love, and this hits home. Watching all these movies with my daughter and reviewing them is supposed to be something fun we do in our spare time, but this movie really made me think about my family and worries and fears of being a parent. And I remembered a little piece of video I shot the day after I quit my job, and the first day I was actually a stay-at-home dad. I started this journey. I didn't edit this. This is the real audio from that moment. And in all seriousness, I don't know if anyone's watching. If anything happens to me and I'm not around for Macy's wedding, someone play this for her. Kiss for Dada? Kisses? Oh! So those kisses for Dada? Kisses? Oh, thank you.
That's what I think about.
What do you think?
What we have is a concern about Curtis Anderson. His interviewing style is not the best. His personal appearance is not the best. I was wondering if the man has some kind of a hold over the channel that he's allowed to be employed for so long with the standards of journalism and personal appearance that he has. Thank you.